Our weekly visit with the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon, here on the Burns and Gambo Show, and joining us right now on the Arizona Sports Line. Coach Gannon is locked in and ready to go. Coach, welcome to the show. Happy Thanksgiving week to you, man. How you doing today?
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Man, we just got the news. Kyzir White, what a shame. That kid had played his butt off for you. I mean, what a terrific player he was. To see him go on injured reserve like this, that's got to be a big blow for you guys.
Yeah, you feel bad for all our guys that get nicked, but, he's not going to be able to finish the season. But what he's done for the team and the defense, being a captain and the player that he is, the person that he is, you just feel bad for the guy. But He'll bounce back. He'll be ready to go next year.
Yeah, good leader, too. We really liked him. All right, let's get to these fourth down decisions. You had three of them in the second half of the football game. The second one and the third one, pretty understandable. The second one, 4th and 4 from the 45. It's probably a 63-yard field goal. Not as much time on the clock. Incomplete to Trey. The last one, 4th and 8. You got to go for it because you're down by more than a field goal. But I want to get to the first one because that's the controversial one. 4th and 3. You're down by 5. There's about 13 minutes left in the game. You kick a field goal, you're only down 2. You've got Matt Prater, one of the best field goal kickers. Why did you decide to leave him on the sideline and go for it on that 4th down?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, that's a call that I look back on, and you kind of think about, if you would have done something different, would the game have, been different at the end? But, our process that we use for those decisions, I feel really good about. We educate our guys on those, and you take into consideration the time and the score and what your defense and offense is doing, what their offense and defense is doing, and I felt really good about going for it there. So, you got to be okay if those things don't work out, the repercussions of that, but felt good about it, and they made the play and we didn't. So we'll learn from it and move on.
I'm not the most analytic guy out there. So is it more of a gut feeling to go for it there, or do the numbers say we have a better chance of winning the football game if we go for this 4th and 3?
Always a little bit of both with that, truthfully, guys. It's that's what the numbers say, but sometimes I listen to the numbers, sometimes I don't, and that comes from kind of prep work throughout the week and throughout, however long I've been on the job with the people that we have in place for that. And felt good about it, and our team knows that those certain situations, they're prepped for those, and that when they come up, it's not a shocker what we're doing. And it just ultimately didn't work out.
You talk about a multitude of factors that goes into a decision like that. How much in that moment was the factor of what the Texans offense had done in the first half and kind of the feeling that maybe you might have to keep up with them a little bit on the scoreboard based off of how the first half went?
Yes, score definitely goes into those decisions. So that's always a factor that plays into it. That's why I said, like, the offense, the defense, what both sides are doing. But that's always a little bit of a factor in those.
What did you do in the second half to change the equation when it comes to what Houston's offense was doing?
Yeah, I thought, we got in there. They asked me that in the media today, and each game's a little bit different. Certain games you kind of stick with the plan and talk about some different adjustments, things like that, or certain games you get to some different calls. Nick really, honestly, he got to a couple different calls, but I thought, honestly, just the reminder of little details and techniques and fundamentals to make sure certain things are going on out there, to make sure we're winning some downs. And, obviously the takeaways, helped. We made some big-time plays there in the second half with the 2 interceptions. But each game's a little bit different. He adjusted a little bit, but I thought I give credit to the players. They made some plays there.
Yeah, my favorite play of the game was that sack by Jalen Thompson. It looked like it was a delayed blitz. And that's the play CJ came out of the game first half, their first possession, which led to that missed field goal. Big play right there, having the safety come up and delay blitz and get that 9-yard loss. Seems like you guys were able to get some more pressure in the second half.
Yeah, I think we did. I thought that Jalen played extremely well yesterday. He's been playing winning football for us the whole year. But, it was a good call by Nick. I think, that's a kind of, I'm not going to get too much into it, but we executed it the right way, and he ended up being free and did a good job of lowering his target because a lot of times free runners hit quarterbacks in the head. So that was a really good job and execution by him. And and I thought that throughout the next part of that half, I thought we were able to get some pressure on him and make him feel uncomfortable in the pocket, which led to some of the 2 interceptions, some of the incomplete passes. So they did a good job.
Let's get your thoughts on Kyler. We talked a lot about it earlier. Like last week, we thought that was really good, Kyler. This week, kind of just okay. Some of those throws seemed a little underthrown. Some of them seemed a little wobbly. Was anything you noticed in watching the film of some of those throws? Was it the pressure that was getting to him, or was it something else?
Yeah, I mean, the one that I think you're talking about, the one underthrown to Hollywood on the sideline, he had people, we got to firm up the pocket a little bit. I'm sure he wants some throws back. One came out of his hand a little bit different, but he's super critical of himself. He wants to improve. He takes the arrow in the forehead, and it's not about one guy. There's no doubt about that. But I think he wishes we could play another game today to have some of those plays back. But he did a lot of things in that ball game that allowed us to be in that ball game too. So just like everybody wants to, improve certain parts of his game and keep improving there. And I thought on the first time on the road, we got to get some things cleaned up, in an environment like that, with just in and out of the huddle procedural things, which we'll continue to get better at the more and more snaps he gets. And we'll go from there. We'll get back to work and go from there.
Jonathan Gannon, our guest here on the Burns and Gambo show. I did hear some of the post-game comments. He did sound like he was hard on himself after yesterday's game. Do you like that? Do you want that out of your quarterback? Do you want him being that hard on himself?
Yeah, I think, you want your whole team to have ultimate accountability, starting with me and then the coaches, right? And then obviously the trigger guy is the most, closest we have to a coach on the field in between the white lines. So he's been like that since I've met him. So yeah, you want that, but understand, hey man, we got to move on and we're on to the next week here, the next opponent, and put all your energy and focus into the Rams. But I would say this, when the quarterback does that, when Kyler Murray does that, that bleeds into the entire team. And that's why I think we're about the process and about getting better, and why we have really good meetings even after you're disappointed and frustrated after a loss. I think we got better today.
Given the injury he came back from and the time that it took him to come back from it, is it wrong to expect linear improvement from Kyler and knowing that there's just going to be some ebbs and flows to this process?
Yeah, I would think 100% there's ebbs and flows with all of our guys. You know what I mean? And then just like you said, coming back from the injury that he came back with, and understand that he's still just around a month of practice. There's going to be a learning process that evolves and takes place, and everything from game planning to practice to playing football. And but I'm on board because he's all in on it, and he's looking to improve his game every day.
Too bad this isn't baseball, right? You'd be able to play the next baseball. They play the next day. You guys got to wait a week. You got to sit with this for a week. In baseball, you play the next day. Got to ask you about Marco, because I'm just going through my notes. He had the touchdown to Schultz. Looks like he beat Marco. The touchdown to Dell. You guys flushed him out of the pocket. You flushed CJ out of that pocket, but it looks like he got behind Marco. A lot of time on that one, and so it's tough to cover for that long. But what did you think of his play? Because it does look like he got beat quite a few times yesterday.
Yeah, I think it's just like with Kyler. It's never about one guy. All the other 10 guys out there with Marco have to do their job as well. But I think, just what we pointed out today is the value of eye discipline, playing with the right leverage, the proper technique on a consistent basis. We understand that's a very hard position, and everybody sees that position when you don't make the play, or if you make the play, because of the nature where it is on the football field, in space. I call it on the highway. So he'll get back to it, and I'm sure he'll have a good week and bounce back.
What did you hear from the official on that punt that they said hit Hamilton's hand? Because we got terrible replays from watching the game. I couldn't tell either way, but a lot of people felt like there's no way it could have hit his hand or arm, just the way the ball fell back. You guys ended up getting the interception, so no harm, right? But still, at that point, it could have saved you a little bit of time if it would have went your way.
Yeah, I think the explanation I got was it's not clear and obvious, so we're sticking with the call. That's what they normally tell me.
Yeah,
All right.
They need to do a better job of that.
More cameras, I
Yeah.
think, is what we need.
I mean,
More
we're in
cameras.
2023.
Well, I know it's a work week for you guys, but happy Thanksgiving anyway.
Yeah,
Hope you
happy
get
Thanksgiving, you guys.
to
Enjoy the turkey.
some
Have a
time
good
with
week.
the family.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Coach.
Coach Jonathan Gannon. Our guest here on the Burns and Gambo Show for his weekly visit here on Arizona Sports.